Okay, hey y'all, hey. Welcome to Cosmic Kiss. Welcome back to Cosmic Kiss. Thank you for all the support. Okay, I'm just saying gratitude in advance. But in the meantime, in between times, we are going to do a quick shuffle. This is more like a test run. Oops, excuse me, got a little sloppy there. You're going to see my legs and stuff because I sit on the floor with my reeds. So what we're going to do is bam. Here we go. Bam, 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 ba-dam. All right, so hey y'all, hey. How y'all doing? So we're going to do a quick shuffle. And what I want to share is that the week ahead shuffle that I did on Sunday was so on point that I want to do, not necessarily a week ahead, but what we get, hump day, what to consider, oh goodness, what to consider for the rest of the week, what theme we're going to have for the rest of the week we can consider, and some, just some things to look out for. I'm not really in alignment with what moon is what, because normally I do, because, I'm supposed to be an astrologer, but I'm not going to say supposed to, but I'm not the type of astrologer that looks at the charts every single day to see how the energy goes, because one thing I know about energy, it changes, and I feel it first, and then when something happens, I look to the stars for either clarity and most times confirmation. All right, so thank you, ancestors, spirit guides, and our spirit teams, and most importantly, spirit. Gratitude, just gratitude for what we have accomplished this week, gratitude for the triumphs we've had, gratitude for the blessings and the lessons of this week, and we're just grateful for all that is, grateful for all that was, and grateful for all that will be, because we know that everything happens for us and not to us, and that there ain't no timing like oh goodness, it's getting a little sloppy, like divine timing. All right, so our focus for the rest of the week, what are some things we can, y'all hear that thunder? All I'm getting is listen. Okay, so listen. The thunder's telling you to listen. I don't know about y'all, but I was raised in the South, and even with my family from the North, we all got Southern origins. And one thing I learned is when it's thunder and lightning, it was like, let God work, let spirit work. And with that said, the thundering is just to listen to your inner nudge. And so our overall theme for the week, we got Two of Cups. Okay, and when I see this Two of Cups, it's about, to me, it's about union. But since it's cups and waters, it's an emotional union and more so a spiritual union. Now, we can make this romantic and we cannot make this romantic, so we're just going to go clockwise and see. Oh. Ooh, interesting. All right. We got the bull on the bottom of the deck. All right, so with this Two of Cups, I'm getting like a spiritual union. It could be a spiritual union with you and needing to connect with your ancestors, your spirit team, the divine more. It could be a spiritual union that you have with another physical being, another person. But you take it how it resonates. But the one thing I do know about, or one thing that's resonating so much so, but what I do know about seahorses is that they're like swans. They're like penguins. They mate for life, and the masculine is the one that actually holds the babies and nourishes the babies. And that's usually, considering those other species that I just named, that's not necessarily unusual, but for this pairing, it's almost like the masculine, or the masculine energy within you, or the masculine and within whatever partnership you have, is the one that is going to nurture what is birthed by the divine feminine, or by the feminine aspect. So with this birth, it could mean an actual baby, or it could be a creation of sort, but either the divine masculine and with you is the one that's going to nurture it and bring it into fruition, or in your partnership, oh, this is interesting. In your partnership, or in the partnership that you have with your significant other, person of interest, or your spirit team, whichever role that you take, that masculine energy is the one that's going to nurture the creation into fruition. Okay, with that said, the hangman, the enslaved prisoner, the hangman is the first card that came down. And I don't know if y'all can see it, but this is a trial run. But this right here, the hangman, is almost like you're going to have to wait. We know the hangman usually represents transition. And usually in this transition, we become anxious. We become worried. This is where we're most susceptible to worry, self-doubt, anxiety, frustration, just giving up on whatever creation or whatever you're trying to co-create with the divine. So with this hangman energy, it's almost like wait. And even though he's chained up, I feel like these chains are self-imposed, meaning you can wait willfully in a joyous, in a state of gratitude, or these chains are symbolic of like having to, like, waiting and feeling like you're constrained. Okay, so this waiting on this co-creation to basically come into fruition is just feeling very, very, very restrictive. Now we have Zespana Shapana. Okay, and in the Voodoo religion, this is usually the spirit of disease, but and the healing of the disease or the causing of the disease. Now, the disease here, and I'm not thinking about disease as in like diabetes, but more so dis-ease. So it's almost like the dis-ease in spirit. There's a dis-ease within your spirit, within the spirit of the collective at this time. But just like this Orisha, just like this deity, I believe it's an Orisha, but just like this deity has the power to inflict this disease, it also has the ability to cure this dis-ease. So with that said, these chains, I feel like these chains are symbolic of this quote-unquote dis-ease, or, you know, uneasiness, this anxiety, this self-doubt. But just like we can impose it on ourselves, we can also free ourselves from this. And one thing about this this deity is, especially in those voodoo, in the festivals that they have for the Orishas, man, he spins around. It's like moving that energy around. So transmuting, there's a need to transmute this dis-ease or this energy of dis-ease so that you can turn this dis-ease into ease. And it also has a rattle. Again, rattles are often used to move negative energy around. So there might be a need to move, to exercise. Shoot, some people may even need to physically or will be moving physically to different environments, be it mentally or physically or spiritually, just moving in different spaces to move this energy or transmute this energy around. And then we have the outcast here. The outcast is aloof. Is like wandering, literally teetering on the edge of danger. But if you know about the rooster in the hoodoo and the voodoo and even the Voodoo pantheon, the rooster is usually symbolic of a deity that protects. So it's almost like one of my favorite things is to say, God take care of fools and babies. So in this case, it's almost like a limbo. This anxiety, this self-doubt, this almost like reconsidering the path that you're walking on, the need to move this energy around, but maybe not even knowing how to move it around or knowing where this movement, you can feel the movement. It's like you're anticipating, but you don't know where it's coming from and you don't know where you're moving to. And this is causing you to be aloof, but in this aloof state, know that you are protected. And yes, you can possibly feel like you're dancing with danger, but the one thing, like I said, God takes care of fools and babies, and since most of us are pretty grown, you got to say that you're a fool, and technically that means God covers us all, fools and babies, because even babies are fools, and like I said, most of us are grown, so most of us are foolish, meaning that we don't know everything, we don't have it all figured out, and that's okay. And with that not knowing, there's a certain grace and a certain mercy in that. So even if you're feeling aloof, feeling like, which way do I go, just know that your path is protected, that you are being divinely guided. And then we have Iku, the death card. The death card, like we know, doesn't necessarily symbolize a physical death, but more so an ending and a transition. And this card has been coming up in my weekly reads, my monthly reads, and when I did for the rest of the year spread, death was the card for September. Oh, no, Death wasn't the card for September. I take that back. Death was a card that's coming like literally towards the end of the year, like more towards December, excuse me. The Tower was for September. But see, when we see Death in the Tower card, a lot of times, because we're always on this polarity of good and bad, evil and good, we often see these cards and like, think the worst. That movement, transmuting of energy, any dis-ease you got, don't return that shit to sender. Transmute that into a power source that you can use to manifest your highest timeline, to manifest or to visualize, to put yourself physically in your mind, like see it with a vividness and a clarity that you haven't given yourself or allowed yourself to see things in. Moving that energy around to transmute that energy, meaning turn that energy into something positive. So I don't know if you ever see like the superhero movies where they absorb the energy and send that shit back. It's like that, but instead of returning it to sender, we're gonna absorb that and we're gonna turn it into the power source that we need to help us through this transition, help us into this next stage. So that means there's some stuff we got to let go, but we're going to transmute this dis-ease into empowering energy. Yes, this anxiety that we have is it is because we feel this death. It's almost like we feel this death. We feel this energy. And so it's like we're holding on to stuff. And for some of us, myself included, I've given up a lot in the physical, But what I didn't realize, there was a lot that I was still subconsciously holding on into my mental that was affecting my spiritual. And one thing I learned last night listening to Dr. B Serious and Brother Rich on Black Magic was that there is a need to forgive yourself, your family, and others, not for being imperfect, but for imperfections, because none of us are perfect. So yes, there are things that are in our subconscious that are blocking us, and I'm going to always talk about it, that are usually tied to a trauma. And trauma doesn't always have to be physical abuse, sexual abuse. It could be situations that were so intensely emotionally driven or charged, or had just such an emotional imprint that it almost like kind of leaves a stain in our subconscious. Now we move a certain way because of that emotional stain, and a lot of this is repressed, is suppressed. So where, like I said, I've given up a lot in the physical because a lot of energy was attached to those things, and I had made peace with those things, but there were a lot of things in my subconscious that I didn't realize that I was still attached to, that was still attached to me, so to say, or things that I had let go, but now Spirit is like bringing it back to see just how much I'm going to now apply what I know about transmuting energy, what I know about being okay with being aloof, being okay with not knowing, being okay with just being in this state of limbo because I am divinely protected. How am I going to apply what I know now that these energies are resurfacing, because they don't even feel as strong? But it's almost like the test before the death or the ending or the transition. And I like the fact that this Ace of Earth is at the bottom of the deck, because this Ace of Earth, that's at Taurus. And you know, Taurus is all about physical comforts, making shit happen so that I can be comfortable. But Taurus also has to do with love, self-love, your love for yourself, your love for others, and ensuring that you are in a space. One thing about a Taurus is going to take care of their damn selves. They may, to some people, they may come off as selfish, because unhealed and unchecked, it can be selfish and self-absorbed. But that's the thing. That's the key to a Taurus being a Taurus, is their self-preservation through self-love, the demonstration of self-love, making sure that I have what I need so that I can live comfortably. And I often there's always a joke about Tauruses having this love for food. But what I see, this is like nourishing, because food is very important to us on our spiritual journey, because these vessels were conduits, okay? And if you're not putting the right energy in your body as a conduit, as a source to connect with the divine, like, you're going to physically burn out, on top of all the physical things that you have to show up and be prepared for. And the Taurus, like I said, they take care of themselves. So I feel like this Ace of Pentacles shows a new beginning that's going to be successful, because a bull is going to get it done. But in this new beginning, make sure you're taking care of yourself, okay? I hope this message resonates. Trying a new setup. We're going to see how this goes. All right, and if you like what you hear, subscribe, and I'll see you soon.